All right, so now we're in the woods. You all can probably hear it in the background. A little bit of wilderness around us. We're going to get in the mood for rangers and then rogues. Oh, that's a mighty woo. Yeah, you know, Blargle, it is solid. There's definitely things that are going to require, you know, any minor editing stuff aside, like a letter here or there. There's some things that are going to require a campaign consideration if it's taking place outside of Eberron, or even if it's inside of Eberron. There's some mechanics that can seem kind of wonky, or not wonky, just... Oh, hi, cat. Oh, yeah, you have your... Yep, look at you. You have your claw stuck in my leather chair. My newish leather chair. How wonderful. Just things that can seem to take a lot of time at the tabletop to get through. And so, while they're cool and thematic, they can create, I guess, some... Oh, she's blessing the minis, everyone. This is the time to strike. Get them while they're warm and incubated by a lucky cat. And she's lucky because she was adopted. And she was the runt of her litter. And I wanted to take her in and give her that chance because she was small. But she's very energetic and lovely. So let's see where the ranger lies in all of this. For those who are new here, while a subclass is presented, there's a lot of material that leads up to that presentation that provides context for it existing in Eberron, which then you can take and translate it into your own homebrew or another setting. Or as a DM, you can read about that context and understand, all right, so this might seem overpowered, however, the thought is this subclass is supposed to behave in this manner so that it would be sort of out of the idiom of the character or the class or the subclass to act in a different fashion. And I love, love, love that this supplement makes you question the presumptions for the class as it's normally given to you in the player's handbook. Because there are presumptions made in the handbook and in the Dungeon Master's Guide about this is the information that we're giving to you and this is what we're assuming your world has. A survey of wild warfare. In this course, and this is presented as a lecture guide, by the way. I love it. In this course, students will study the principles of wilderness survival and the history of the untamed lands of Corvair. The indomitable Professor Tolaoi and I, Professor Thornlong, will lead expeditions into the King's Forest, the Shadow Marches, and the Demon Wastes. Survival not guaranteed. Martial Arts Class 106, Warfare in the Wild. The classic image of the Ranger is a Warden of the Wilds, a cunning skirmisher with a touch of druidic magic, but the Ranger can fill many roles. A typical Ranger is perceptive and stealthy, familiar with the wilds, and a subject matter expert on the habits and tactics of a variety of enemies. This is an excellent one-paragraph distillation of, you know, the things that you end up getting here. There are many other paragraphs that exist that are going to bring you into the Eberron setting. And it's just good flavor to read, even for ideas for your own homebrew world. I'm not going to go through all of this here. I want to leave something for you to savor and enjoy, and to, you know, give you a reason to pick up this PDF for yourself and, you know, support the author and have a little fun in doing so. But it does, it makes some great storytelling. Expanded Natural Explorer options. For those who want to draw special attention to Eberron or distinction between multiple rangers in a party, the favored terrain options for the Natural Explorer feature have been expanded to include unnatural and urban environments. Unnatural environments are twisted by magic or populated with alien flora and fauna, like the Demon Wastes and the Mournland, while massive cities, such as the mile-high towers of Sharn or the fortress metropolis of Korth, characterize sprawling urban environments. A ranger can add these environments as a type of favored terrain at 1st, 6th, or 10th level, instead of choosing the options from the player's handbook. And that might be something that you want to include in your own homebrew, right? Nothing like that is necessarily broken or out of the question in Faerun or maybe Dark Sun, depending, Ravenloft, Greyhawk. If you're playing in Plane Chase, you know, and you go to Sigil, urban and or unnatural could very much apply. Well, Rycon, if you ever need some help, you know that you can find it in the Mentor channel on our Discord. Myself and plenty of people would love to help you come up with lore and religion and economics and philosophies and governmental styles and conflict and all of this stuff. The Ranger is often depicted as a champion of the natural world and shares many spells with the Druid. While it's easy to present this magic as a form of druidic spellcasting, and a ranger could be familiar with wild environments, this doesn't have to translate to respect for nature or any connection to druids. A bounty hunter may have learned to hunt humans in desolate environments, but prefers to spend the gold earned for the bounties in a gambling den in Sharn. In creating a ranger, leave no approach without consideration. So again, if we're going to make a random character, this would be something we would include. This is a special stop and ask yourself this question while creating a character. Let's roll a d8. 1. Our wilderness experience. The border of Droam, where the Greywall Mountains rise up from the plains. You've dealt with all manner of monsters, whether as enemies or merely neighbors. Ogres and trolls, harpies and gnolls. Your favorite enemy would be giants or monstrosities, and your favorite terrain would be mountains or grasslands. And this could make that decision for us because we are from that area, and therefore we are going to be encountering, we'll have more knowledge about those enemies. We'll be better versed in the traipsing across of that environment. This is exploring the natural realms and the unnatural realms in which you may traverse. With the DM's permissions, an unnatural ranger can cover a wide variety of concepts and can cosmetically flavor spells and class features to fit a multitude of avenues. You could cast Hunter's Mark by whispering the target's true name to the arrow, or by making an adjustment on a set of magical targeting goggles, while Fog Cloud could be an alchemical gas bomb. The important thing is that the rules remain the same. Even if you describe your Fog Cloud as a smoke bomb, you follow all the usual rules and restrictions for casting a spell, and it won't function in an anti-magic field. I love these prompts. Think outside the box. Have fun. Not all rangers are what you would presume. There are rangers that function inside of churches that don't have to be paladins. Lots of lore to back up different kinds of rangers from different environments. All right, so here we go. This is the Field Marshal. This is the archetype, or the subclass, I should say, that is offered in this supplement for rangers. The Lost Streaming Company, hello! Good to see you. Wave, wave, wave. Rycon asks, what do you think about items giving you feats or learning them without taking it on a level up? Items granting them, I guess it depends. I mean, a magical gem might be able to confer a language or a skill or several, and those are feats because it reprograms your brain. You know, or if you just want to learn it yourself, I do believe in being able to learn other skills, languages, tool proficiencies over the course of a campaign by practicing it, role-playing it, going through downtime, and you know, constantly making sure you're trying to address that. I'm glad you're well, Mortal Fingers. The last war showed the value of designating military leadership to smaller unites. So, uh-oh, we might have found another spelling error there. Team? Eberron team? We're on your side. I'm not pointing this out to make fun of you. But if you want to revise, that, there's a couple things here and there. Just like we have a glowing firsts as a monk. To smaller unites on the battlefield, and rangers who could support their allies and provide clear focus and direction to individual troops became invaluable and sought after. Field marshals lead by example, providing tactical guidance to position small hit-and-run ambushes and raids. During the last war, Karnath largely relied on Battlemaster fighters to rally and focus entire lines of infantry, but many other nations made exceptional use of those skills by coupling the strengths of the two seasoned leaders. Most notably, Breland, Sire, and Valinar learned to use field marshals to relay the larger scale tactics of the Battlemasters to be carried out by smaller units, supporting each other in tandem and repelling superior numbers with the superior adaptability that individual units can execute with deadly efficiency. As a ranger, you get a lot of your things through your class, so there's really only 4 subclass gimme goodies that you get. And remember, these subclasses match up with the milestones or the levels that you get them in the player's handbook. These are not new classes. These are just new subclasses that plug into the overarching structure of the class that already exists in the player's handbook. Do they lose it if they lose an item? How does the feat work as a prerequisite for other feats? Sorry, are you going to ask Raikon that if he's planning on that? All right, Soname, no problem. You lurk away. Have fun. Enjoy. Do what you got to do. I'm out to play games. Enjoy the reading. I'll look through the Discord later. All right, Wolfie. Be well. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for talking and sharing your own experiences and your own thoughts on this. All of this is very meaningful contact, and I'm very appreciative. Oh, it's fine, Raikon. I think, look, if you've been on Twitch long enough, you've spelled something wrong, or you've said something. You're like, I wish I could have said that better. You've used the wrong emote, and everyone's like, what? And you're like, oh, not that one, not that emote. That is not the appropriate reaction. All right, so starting at 3rd level, you learn an additional spell when you reach certain levels in this class, as shown in the Field Marshal spells table. The spell counts as a ranger spell for you, but doesn't count against the number of ranger spells you know. All right, so we're still a half-caster, but we are getting a wee tiny little bit more magic. Fairy Fire, Enhance Ability, Clairvoyance, Hallucinatory Terrain, and Skill Empowerment, and that one's in Xanathar's Guide. I think those make sense. I think those make sense for what a Field Marshal is going for. Armored Infiltration. At 3rd level, you have mastered the patience and focus to traverse the battlefield silently without sacrificing protection. Wearing armor doesn't impose disadvantage on your dexterity stealth checks. Ooh. So this would allow you to wear heavy armor and still move around and be all sneaky. That's pretty cool. Tactical Aggression. At 3rd level, you can direct tactical focus on one foe, increasing the damage your allies inflict on it. As a bonus action, you designate one creature you can see within 60 feet of you as the target of this feature. The first time each round you or an ally of yours hits the target creature with a weapon attack, the creature takes extra damage equal to your proficiency bonus. This benefit lasts until you finish a short or long rest. It ends early if you designate a different creature. It's not bad. It might need the clarification about what type of damage. Because just saying damage, is it magical, non-magical? Is it of the type inflicted? If I hit with a fireball and I deal like 40 fire damage, is it then gonna, add on 3 extra regular damage? Can a barbarian resist that? So I don't really have a qualm with this tactical aggression. It does reward cooperation, and I think that's what this is supposed to do. But maybe shoring that up a little bit with the language would help. Sorry, only partly listening, but does a Ranger Druid multi-class help with the caster effects you're looking for? Well, I'm not looking... if you multi-class the two, then you're going to get... you're multi-classing a full caster class with a half caster class. And so you'll end up most likely with more spell slots than normally you'd get. But with this subclass that we're going over, it's providing a little bit extra spell support and without needing to multi-class. This is just built into this Ranger subclass proposal. You recently got OneNote. It's incredible for D&D. The organization it provides is perfect. What is OneNote, Raikon? Redeployment. Actually, here, let's measure this against... Let's measure this against Ranger archetypes. So we have the Hunter. And the Beastmaster. This is definitely different than either of those. Well, I guess the Hunter is a lot more aggressive towards just that. You're hunting. It's more offensive. This is the Infiltration is allowing you to be a little bit more defensive, maybe some roleplay, and a lot more sneaking. The Tactical Aggression is good. I mean, the party should tend to focus to do that anyway, so it will reward, follow my lead. Here we go. And you'll get a bonus for that. Redeployment at 7th level. When you take the attack action, you can forego one of your attacks, which by that point you'll have extra attack at 5th level, to redirect your ally's positioning on the battlefield. When you do, each ally that can hear or see you within 60 feet of you can immediately use its reaction to move up to half its speed without provoking opportunity attacks. Ooh. That's, it's definitely thematic. So that'll either be 2 or 3 squares depending on the race. You do that every turn? I guess that's okay. It does allow everyone to reposition themselves. It doesn't even have to be towards you. You know, the Bard compels that it's movement toward the Bard. This is just move anywhere. That will make for very interesting tactical encounters. I don't know if it's necessarily broken, because, you know, if a mage is just going to be a turret in the back line, they're not going to care. They're really not going to move unless they're being threatened. So it would make, you know, frontliners like fighters, barbarians, maybe rogues. Rogues would probably get a lot of good. Oh yeah, especially because you could set up a lot of sneak attacks that way, with people just, you know, doing a battle dance around, and so there's always someone next to an enemy, so you can always go for the kidney and shank them with a sneak attack. It's a good support ability. Overwatch. Oh, actually, hang on. Redeployment is at 7th. So defensive tactics. Opportunity attacks are made with disadvantage. Okay, so that's just it. You get a defensive block. And now this is the, by the way, this is the old Beastmaster. The Beastmaster has been errated in official errata. So I guess comparing it here is... comparing it here isn't going to be the best, because it has been shorn up with that. There's also an Unearthed Arcana. There's 3 types of Rangers, really. You have the original Beastmaster Ranger. You have an Unearthed Arcana Beastmaster Ranger, which supposedly tries to fix or address the Ranger class and subclass. And then there's the official errata, which is doing the same, or attempting to. At 11th level, whenever a creature within 60 feet of you targets an ally of yours with an attack, you can use your reaction to make a weapon attack against it. If your attack hits, the creature's attack is made with disadvantage. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, minimum 1. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. My question would be then, is this foregoing damage on the attack, or is the disadvantage in addition to the damage you're dealing on the hit? I get the ability. It seems cool. And you can use it on with ranged weapons and melee. Tactical coordination at 15th level. Your allies have learned to move in rhythm with your instincts for decisive action. Your tactical aggression feature now deals extra damage the first time the creature is hit by a weapon attack each turn instead of each round. Oh my. Additionally, at the end of... but, you know, 15th is pretty high up there. Additionally, at the end of your turn, one creature you choose within 5 feet of you gains a bonus to their armor class equal to half your proficiency bonus, rounded down, until the start of your next turn. So that'll be a 2, and then in 2 more levels it'll be a 3. Could be interesting, especially if you're providing that to already like a big heavy tank. I like it. I don't think it's broken. It will... We could have a mix-up as well, you know, if it comes to redeployment and people going hem and haw. I don't know, should I move? Should I move? Should I move? Should I move? It could create a little bit of a bottleneck, but I don't really see it as anything that's super bad. You know, if the barbarian is probably going to move the 10 feet to get over to the enemy anyway. So I don't see that giving it that 10 feet up front would really, you know, hurt whatever. It is thematic, and I like the spell support. Rangers having just a little bit more spells. I don't know. It resonates to me. You know, just sort of an unknown. It just seems right. I like this. So aside from some clarity, it seems solid to me. And if you all have opinions, even if you disagree with me, say it. Throw it out there in chat. My ego's not writing on this PDF. Nor is my opinion. It's an opinion, right? Rycon, it's a Microsoft program that comes with Microsoft Office bundle. So basically you start a folder, you have a section of notes in it, and all those notes can have subnotes. Also, all the pages are unlimited, and you have unlimited folders and notes. I'll have to look into that because I recently went to the subscription service for Microsoft Office, and I'll have to take a look at OneNote and see if that can help me keep things organized. Hey, oh sheeps, I disagree, and I have no idea how to D&D. Also, hello. Well, you can disagree even if you don't know how to D&D, because that means that it's an opportunity to help you learn. So, haha, gotcha. You fell into my trap. But, yes, oh sheeps, it's good to see you back. Thank you for visiting us again. Imagine a lone wolf, but with friends. That's a terrifying conundrum. I'll scoot this in just a little bit here. We're losing some content. All right, I think we have enough time left here. Let's take a look at the rogue and compare it to the subclasses that are offered already, which is Thief, Assassin, and Arcane Trickster. We'll see how that works as a subclass and how it interacts with the basic. Every rogue, regardless of subclass, gets these abilities. Yep, gotcha, sheep. Urban economics and family values. Crime rates have risen sharply over the last war. Is this tied to a lack of faith in the rule of law, increasing desperation as established systems fail, or do criminal organizations provide a sense of stability our leaders no longer provide? Capable students can earn extra credit through extracurricular activities. Oh, Becky! Hey, Becky! At 6 months, check it out. You have a nice orange. You are spicier now. You used to be yellow. You used to be just like a queso dip. And now you're orange. You're even spicier. Maybe it's a salsa con queso. But welcome to the Orange Club, my friend. Enjoy your spicy salsa. For those of you who are here, Becky also streams content on Twitch. And I don't know, Becky, would you call yourself like a variety streamer? Or you're welcome to talk a little bit about your channel if you'd like. On that note as well, O'Sheeps. O'Sheeps is a Twitch artist, if I recall the conversation with Carla the other night. And so, O'Sheeps, you are welcome to talk about your channel as well. Oh, Becky, you know it. Spicy salsa is the best salsa. And yeah, so for either of you, don't forget, O'Sheeps or Becky, if you're on our Discord, you are always welcome to post when you're broadcasting. There's a special community support page where you can show off your work. You can advertise when you're broadcasting on Twitch, or Sheeps, if you take commissions, there's a section on our Discord called Talent for Hire. And you can, show a little bit of your wares. You can provide a link to a store or a portfolio or whatever. And if you want to take commissions, there's a lot of creative people here who are seeking character portraits, maybe monster design or whatever. And maybe that can open up something for you. I would call myself don't know what I'm doing streamer. Okay, Becky, you know what? A lot of your stream titles reflect that. I saw you were streaming earlier, and it always gives me a chuckle. Alright, so our course in urban economics. Anyone can learn to use thieves' tools to hide in shadows or pick a pocket. The rogue is defined by two things. A rogue is slippery and deals with threats by avoiding them, sometimes even rolling with a hit and then disappearing into the shadows. When that fails, rogues are just as adept at spotting a weak point or unwary foe as they are twisting the knife to inflict devastating damage. While a variety of specialists can match a rogue's expertise at different odds and ends, no one can strike a single blow as devastating and then slip away into the night. Like most things in Eberron, no two rogues are the same, and each talent or feature that one possesses is an opportunity to flush out the story. That should probably be to flesh out the story. I mean, you could flush a story, I suppose, but we might have found an error in this entry. It might be flesh out for this playtest content. Of how each skill was learned and the first time it was employed. That's an excellent roleplay prompt. I love that this document does it. I'll keep saying it because it continues to be true. Have you ever if you ever played a rogue, and then have you ever considered that? Why did you learn to take acrobatics as a proficiency? When was the first time you used it? Was a heist? Were you trying to get away from bullies in the schoolyard? Build your character step by step like that. With any path, players should discuss the ways in which their history might affect the future with their DM. Perhaps a criminal started out as a muscle working for the Boromar clan in Sharn and caught up in this clan's struggle with the monsters of Dask. It is an ongoing part of the story. Each adventure is a step closer to freedom, only to see the next arc refuse to see the loop closed. Another character might have left that chapter of life behind entirely, but could be proud of the past or seeking redemption for those crimes. All of this here, it is providing awesome thought prompts for you and your character, or as a DM, to learn about Eberron, to delve into the lore and realize how Eberron rogues work. Because Eberron storytelling is not traditional D&D storytelling. It's all Dungeons and Dragons. It's all fantasy, and we use the same dice. There's a different take, a different consideration. The culture and the education in Eberron is different. So, look at all of this awesome fluff, which is why you should buy the PDF. I'm not going to read all of it, but we're going to get to the crunch here shortly enough. But they're giving you so much information on how to conduct espionage, on different thieves guilds, on all kinds of infiltration, and oh my goodness, if you want to be a hired killer, right? What are some different ways you can approach? This isn't a background, right? But you can be a duelist. You could be a murder machine. You could just be untrained as a natural. There's so much inspiration in here for you. Please pick this up and read it, and just let it blow you away. That's something I've been looking for exactly. I'm a character designer illustrator, so I'm always trying to find that kind of work. Well, O'Sheeps, you are welcome to throw your hat into that arena and make a post in Talent for Hire. Give it a go. Lore and in-depth information is what I live for, says Becky. Well then, you may want to pick up the Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron. That will immerse you. It will give you the initial immersion into Eberron, which is a very interesting place, by the way. And then you can continue to hone and expand that knowledge through this supplement. I really love that it makes you think more about your character's life to give them a reason as to what they do. Oh, sheeps, yes. And when you get an opportunity to watch us make a character on the channel in our workshop, when we're not reviewing but we're manufacturing, I hope that you'll appreciate that that's what we do. I want to know who the character is. Yeah, we might have a male elven paladin, and that's great, you know, but who is the character? Why does he make the decisions that he makes? If we're making this for ourselves, how would this guide us into role-playing this character? In tough times, in good times, in combat, in social situations. And 5th edition does a very good job of trying to get you to think about that. Through the background system, and through content like you see up here. Boop, 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 boop. World building is awesome. Lost Streaming says, as a DM, do you ever do your own campaign settings too? Yes, Lost Streaming. I've been running a consistent world for the past 12 or 13 years, and the consequence of each campaign leaves a mark on the world that will be picked up and handled and be a part of the next campaign. In fact, if you take a look at our just our recently passed YouTube videos, or it's also on our Discord, if you go to stream content, has the little like 3.5 floppy disk next to it. Take a look at the campaign primer, and if you look at, we did two. We did one for the world that we were building for that scenario for that week, and then I introduced the idea of a campaign primer by showing you all one that I made for my campaign world when we switched from 4th to 5th edition. And so you can see the thought that goes into it, the considerations, and how to go about doing a primer, which is meant to get everyone on board in the world you wish to present. Backstory and motive is the essence of a good character. Oh, sheeps, here, pound the fist. Ready? All right, the rock's gonna explode. 3, 2, 1. Nick Turek, does Morgrave have new stuff on changelings? I believe so. We haven't gotten that far yet as we're going through the classes. But when it says the cultures of Eberron, this is getting into racial considerations. And there's shifters. Tieflings. Dragon forged. Let's see. There are some racial feats. I don't know if it goes... There's chameleon for changeling. There's probably going to be... I imagine something else is going to be in here. They showed changelings off a little earlier in the... There's a changeling. I mean, it's art, but... Druid fighter monk. So we're exploring rogue right now. Talenta halflings, shifters, tieflings, dragon forged, marked by prophecy, marked by death, a child of Kyber, evolutionary feats. So it looks like the shifters, or not the shifters, the changelings are going to get a racial feat. There might be something here. There might be something in a background that will be very changeling-esque. But there you go. It's great, it's different. And it does challenge you to think about things. You know, it's the same thing but different. You can have a paladin in Faerun, you can have a paladin in Eberron, and the paladins are going to be different. They'll have the same powers, but the paladins themselves are going to just be different. Different mentality, different behaviors, and a different storytelling style, usually. Before I got into my D&D campaign setting, world was going to be a book, 6 years of world building. Oh my goodness, Rykon. All right, so all of this information on rogues and all this is a deep dive into the lore, the geography, the culture, the understanding of what is a rogue in Eberron, because that is going to support this Eberron subclass. It could be extracted and put into a different campaign setting, but this is going to be the thought going into an Eberron rogue of thief, assassin, or Arcane Trickster, let alone if you go in the subclass. If we're going to generate a character, a rogue character, we add a little bit of extra flair to the creativity, or to the character creation. We rolled a 5. So in this sample concept, a clever urchin with a remarkable talent for eavesdropping on interesting conversations. Is this a relative, the orphan child of a friend of yours, or just someone you befriended during the war? And so this is a friend in low places. So this is someone who's an ally to you. Nick Turek, thank you very much for the follow. And we inch ever closer to 1,000 followers. Thank you very much. And Nick Turek, I hope that you will continue to be a part of our community, ask questions, share tales from your own tabletop, and just have fun. Pull up a chair. You're at a table in a game store, and let's keep talking about the things that we all enjoy. So this is a concept where you have a direct friend in low place, and this doesn't have to be just the thing that you get from the criminal background. This is something that in Eberron you're probably going to be a product of this kind of culture and have this little buddy that we rolled. What is the role of Thieves' Cant? All rogues know Thieves' Cant, a secret mix of dialect, jargon, and code that allows you to hide messages in seemingly normal conversation. Similar to Druidic, and there was a good article contained in here about Druidic, this is universal to all rogues regardless of background, and there's no way for a character of any other class, even a seedy bard who moves in the same circles, to acquire this language. It is important to distinguish why other characters don't learn this secret language. Corvair was once united under the kingdom of Galifar. Thieves' Cant began as the common tongue of the underworld of Galifar, as a type of slang developed so criminals could conduct their business without drawing the attention of the guards. Since then, it has evolved to remain relevant. If a wary guard caught on, it would cease to be useful. And with the last war, and the walls between the 5 nations, the cants drifted farther apart. Thus today, the Thieves' Cant of Fairhaven is quite different from the cant used in Sharn. Many locals know some of the basic cant of their community, but the Thieves' Cant class feature reflects a universal knowledge of the principles of the cant and the customs of the underworld, allowing the speaker to quickly pick up the local dialect by connecting the cants of their previous operating grounds and applying the context to their current circumstances. While it might be obvious that a rogue with a criminal background would know how to talk with other criminals, a spy might have learned to assist with cover identities and to work with underworld informants. However, there are rogue concepts that might have no logical reason to know the secret language of thieves. That doesn't mean Thieves' Cant should be useless for such a character, but rather that your DM might decide to allow it to take other shapes or be reflected in other forms. So, optional rule, Thieves' Cant alternatives. With the DM's approval, a player can replace the Thieves' Cant rogue feature with one of the following alternatives. An extra language. You can speak, read, and write one extra language of your choice, or a secret language. You are a member of a cabal, an espionage agency, a tribe, a fraternity, that has developed a secret method of communication. You can use this to hide messages in seemingly normal conversation. Only another member of your cabal understands such messages. It takes 4 times longer to convey such a message than it does to speak the same idea plainly. In addition, you understand a set of secret signs and symbols that can be used to convey short, secret... I guess that should be messages, plural. There's been a couple little typos, but it's a new document, so... that can be used to convey short, secret messages to other members of your cabal. See, I like this. It's presented as a great option. Does this have to be Eberron only? No. Can you see why this would be an option in Eberron? Yeah, given what was presented about the nature of things. But you can take this idea and drop it into your own world if you want. I'm playing a Changeling Whisper Bard in my brother's campaign right now. Oh, if you want to share any stories, I'd love to hear them. Yeah, the College of Whispers is very interesting. It's I like that you sap confidence and you're kind of like a morale officer, or a morale espionage agent. He abolished common in his game and created Adventurers Cant instead. So adventurers and travelers can talk to each other no matter where they are from. Sailors and merchants can speak a little bit. Yeah, that's a great idea to have, kind of a sailor dialect and trail talk. So whether you want to call it like sailor cant or sailor speech, and then you have something like trail talk for adventurers or for like mercenary members of a particular band might have a language like that. It's a very good idea to consider, Josh. Klepto plays. I can never get a game to pan out. 5 campaigns in the last year that didn't go beyond. Oh, wow. I'm not sure what chain sign is, Nick Turek. Can you explain that? I'm sorry to hear that the games haven't panned out. Is it just, people's lives get busy and they drop, or what's going on? Is there a way that we can help you, Klepto plays? Because as a DM, when I run a campaign, it takes like a year and a half to finish the story, and so I'm not really used to shorter adventures. All right, so here's the subclass that is offered for rogues in this expansion. Oh, it's like a sign language that lets his group of players take. They all dropped a language for one that only they know and can speak and sign. Oh, okay, Nick Turek. That makes sense. Yeah, I love stuff like that. Use the character creation tools as a prompt, and if you want to be imaginative beyond that, there's often a give and take that is rather easy to have this interface. We were just talking about it earlier with the Bone Knight. If as a DM you think the Bone Knight will be too difficult, like it'll kind of break any sort of combat because they'll just hide behind a bunch of skeletons, then tell the player you can be a Bone Knight, but your Constitution score has to be 8 or 10. The Divine Herald is an unwavering agent of divine retribution who brings swift justice to false prophets and heretics. A Divine Herald might answer to the congregation, an inner circle within a church, or be guided by celestial visions that reveal those who bear false witness. The Secret Order of Mirren's Tears maintains its anonymity within the Church of the Silver Flame. In the hours before her final sacrifice, Tira Mirren charged the Avenger Samir Kes to protect the church from the influence of the evil Bel Shalor, eliminating those who succumb to corruption. The order lay dormant for centuries, but now Mirren's Tears prepare to cleanse the church in the wake of the recent rumors of corruption in the highest levels. While Mirren's Tears is an established order of divine heralds, they are found in every faith. A divine herald of the blood of Vol would fight the Emerald Claw and other Vol priests who abuse the faith of their followers. Alright, so as the Bone Knight was an alternative for the Eldritch Knight for fighter, the Divine Herald is a 1/3 caster that is going to, compete or be along the lines of the Arcane Trickster. So I'll bring that up here for our comparison in the player's handbook. And remember, if you're ever looking at Splat content, always compare it to the core rulebook and not to other Splat content. Because some Splat content might drift a little bit out from the core rules and balances. And suddenly, if that content drifts and your content drifts, you've drifted a longer way away from the core values of the player's handbook. And so going to the source is what I will always recommend you do. I need to find a group that isn't afraid to talk to people IRL. Okay. I'm sorry, Klepto. This is in follow-up to what you said above. Make people want to play. The first one I ended up scaring 2 people off because they were very quiet and I kept trying to interact with them to progress the story and to also try to build real-world rapport relationship. They left and said I was too much. So are these then not at the tabletop? They're through Roll20, but people don't want to talk on the microphone or use a camera, or so it's people who want to play but they don't want to interact, or what's the situation? What's the meta for the current play sessions you've been finding, Klepto? All right, so we're 1/3 caster and this Arcane Trickster, it's going to be the same here as Divine Herald. We get spellcasting, Divine Herald features. We're going to get our spellcasting, Harbinger of Faith, Dogma, Votary, Guise of the Believer. We'll get to that when we cross there. So we'll get the ability to cast spells. You learn 3 cantrips of your choice. You learn an additional cleric cantrip of your choice on 10th level. And by the way, the Bone Knight was also off the cleric list. The Divine Herald spellcasting table shows how many spell slots you have to cast your spells at first level and higher. Got it. You know 3 first level cleric spells of your choice. The spells known column of the Divine Herald spellcasting table shows when you learn more. So there's not a requirement like the Arcane Trickster by taking Mage Hand as one of your cantrips. And Arcane Trickster, you must have an enchantment or illusion spell. However, there are no such requirements here for the Divine Herald. It's just that you have the cleric list to choose from, not as expansive a list as a wizard would have. Wisdom is your spellcasting ability for your cleric spells, and your power comes from your devotion to your discipline. So you cast off a wisdom. A wisdom dex cleric is very, well, I mean, really, it's very flexible. An int rogue, a wisdom rogue, a strength rogue is very interesting. Harbinger of Faith. Starting at 3rd level, your sneak attack deals radiant damage instead of dealing the damage of the same type as your weapon. If you follow an evil god, it deals necrotic damage instead. That makes sense? It does make sneak attack arguably more powerful, as there is resistance to normal damage types, but not as much resistance or immunity to radiant damage. Additionally, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack on your turn, you can instill doubt in your target, causing it to question its convictions. The target must make a successful wisdom saving throw or suffer disadvantage on the next attack it makes within 1 minute. You can use this feature an amount of times equal to your wisdom modifier. You regain all uses after a long rest. And you get... Ooh, that's really good. Almost unmitigatable damage. And this writing disadvantage is a good combo. Dogma Votary. At 3rd level, your studies have given you a wide knowledge of religion and its impact on life. Whenever you make an intelligence, history, or religion check to recall information about the gods or their worshippers, you are considered proficient in these skills and add double your proficiency bonus to the check. Alright, so it's, you know, skill proficiency is not really mechanically, like, it doesn't make you more deadly per se. It's roleplay. So that's fine. I think it's thematic for what this subclass is. The Harbinger of Faith is really cool, and if we compare that to, let's see, Mage Hand Ledgermane, you can make it invisible, and you can get a lot of roleplay and combat stuff, right? You can retrieve an object, use Thieves' Tools to pick locks at a distance. You can stow one object in, is being mortar carried. You can use the bonus action granted by your cunning action to control the hand. So this is a little bit more, I guess, versatility, utility, and this one is a little bit more... It's not more damage, it's more possible damage, if that makes sense. It was in a shop. They were just really shy, and I was trying to bring them out of their shell and get them to play their game. I'm the kind of guy that will try to promote participation, ask another character, can you see anything over there, Ranger? Do you know of this religion, Cleric? Is this magic stuff, Sorcerer? Because a story can't move itself on one of the players' back. Well, I'll tell you, as someone who owns a store and runs an open public game on Thursdays, you know, I like that kind of engagement, and I try to encourage that at the table. And so I don't know if there's... I can't say to change what you're doing. I think that level of engagement is good. It would just be know the players and maybe ease them into it. You know, I'm not putting the blame or the burden on your shoulders, but to engage in this way, you might have to change your approach because you have every good intention on teaching them how to play and socializing with them and helping them have a good time. You know, all the good stuff and none of the bad stuff, like rules lawyer, blah blah. You're not rolling the dice right, and because you know those people drive others from the hobby, and it's so I don't know if I can give you any advice, Klepto. I'll do the best I can, being someone in a similar situation. I like the idea of this being multi-class with a bard to escape the Hexblade trap. Hey, Dorak, welcome. Welcome, welcome. What do you mean by the Hexblade trap, Nick Dorak? Our first play session was pretty much only me talking to the DM because they weren't really talking. It was a sad time. Did your DM try to engage with these other players too, or was your DM being passive also? Alright, Guise of the Believer. At level 9, your time spent among the Zealous gives you impeccable insight into their mannerisms, speech patterns, and venerable demeanor, even outside your religious affiliation. When posing as a member of a religious organization, your identity is unquestioned by the masses. You have advantage on charisma deception checks you make against a discerning creature to preserve your guise. Additionally, you can instill further doubt in your target, granting them disadvantage in the contest with your posturing. Once you've used this feature, you must finish a short or long rest before you use it again. Awesome, solid roleplay support. I like it. And so here, conversely, we get a combat with Magical Ambush. Nothing wrong with a combat ability. And so we kind of had a fun swap, right? This is a lot of utility and roleplay. This was more combat, and now we go into this is more roleplay and utility, and then combat. A Corsair of Penance at 13th level. At 13th level, the fire of your faith cannot be extinguished. When you are reduced to 0 hit points and don't die outright, you can make a DC 10 Wisdom saving throw. If you succeed, you can immediately roll any number of hit dice and regain hit points equal to the result. After the saving throw succeeds, you can't cast a spell or use this feature again until you finish a long rest. Ooh, wow, a 13th level Don't Die ability is pretty good. As Wisdom is a casting modifier for this subclass. By 13th level, you could theoretically have a 20 and get a 5. And so you would need to roll a 5, or if you've taken the feat that gets you proficiency, by 13th level you have a +5. So you cannot fail, presumably. If you are proficient in Wisdom saving throws, you will always come back. Could be really powerful, could be abusable, because for a rogue, there's really not a, you're not sacrificing something to have Wisdom be a high stat. Like if you want to go Dex Wiz. So it'd save you once a day. It's kind of like a focus sash, I guess. You're not epic level by 13. That comes in at 17. I don't know. What do you all think about that? Is this save your life once? I mean, half orcs get something kind of like that. Well, it's at 1 hit point racially. However, this you could come back with. Well, you're a D8 class, so on average it's 4.5 hit points back. So if you would go to 0 by 13th level, I mean, you'd have 13 hit die. You could just, let's say that you rolled 10 of them, right? You have a couple in reserve. You would come back with theoretically 45 hit points after a lethal blow. Compared to the other, by the way, you also have a ton of damage mitigation just for being a basic rogue. No subclass involved. Just between you and me. Shh, come here. There we go. Shh. Rogues are arguably the best tank. The best tank class in 5th edition. Shh, 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 shh. You didn't hear that from me, okay? Some people don't feel comfortable role-playing. I don't know, it's a role-playing game, but you have to give people time. Yeah, you gotta put the frog in the room temperature water before you turn up the heat. One time and no spellcasting for the rest of the day seems like an alright trade-off. Well, it doesn't turn off their spellcasting, Nick Turek. Klepto, the DM was like me, trying to prompt them a lot, and they would just kind of look around and not talk. I'm an outgoing kind of guy, so maybe I talk too much, I don't know, but now I'm getting into Roll20, so hopefully I can get into some solid campaigns. I think you'll find a lot of good campaigns. I mean, you'll find bad campaigns there, too. You'll find a lot of good ones. Klepto, I do hope, though, that you can find a game, or that these people will come back. Like, I don't know if they're young kids, or if they're adults, or, what brought them to the store, or if the store owner talked to them, and, maybe they still come back, and they're willing to give it a try again. I really hope, though, that that they will, and that they'll learn all of the fun and the benefits of playing this game or any other role-playing games. Oh shoot! I'm sorry. Sorry, Nictorac. I was focused on the.
Have fun at TwitchCon, nerd.
Oh, goodness. Dorak, is that all for the TwitchCon goal, or like, are you sure you don't want to sponsor some minis or something over here? Nick Direct, thank you for pointing that out. I was focused on the hit die in the you can't cast a spell or use this feature. Okay, so that's probably a lot more equaled out. Because you would, well, shoot, yeah, because you have cleric spells. As a rogue, you could be casting Cure Wounds. Then again, if this is the last boss battle and you've already expended all your spells, I know that this is conditional, and I'm nitpicking. So Nick Direct, you can point this out, and you are 100% correct. If this is the last boss, or this is a big boss battle, or this is the last fight of the day, then you're not necessarily out anything by not casting spells until after a long rest. So yeah, conditional might be a good trade-off. Sure, you deserve it? Oh my... Oh, well, hang on. Jeez, Dorak. Thank you so much. So this is going to put me at... So 92, 202... there. For the March goal. And what I said was, if we get to the March goal, I will just put up the April goal, and because every month I want to raise a little bit at a time. I don't want to seem like I'm tapping everyone, or look, for any of you who are new here, a primary way to raise funds for me to continue to invest in the channel, get better tech and other support and such is by the sponsoring of boxes of minis, where I'll open them up on camera and I'll send them out to you, and it's a lot of fun. We could tell stories and whatnot. But I do want to go to TwitchCon this year, but, I'm in Ohio, TwitchCon's in California, and that's a lot of extra expenses for me to go out there to network and try and bring back to you all information, network connections to try and be a better streamer, and to share this information, especially if you all stream yourselves. I can bring back, notes from the presentations. I can bring back, workshop information to you all. And so that's why I did put up the modest request of, if you'll help me get to TwitchCon by helping to supplement airfare and room and all that, I'm not just going for myself, I'm going for all of us to try and represent to us, to try and meet other D&D streamers, maybe talk to people in the industry who show up, and see if we can really, make our voices heard, and to show that there's a lot of D&D players, but there's also people who have a passion to teach D&D, or to learn it in a different perspective than just, through a common, a common venue like Roll20, where we can run workshops, and we're trying to teach others and empower them to tell stories, to step up and be courageous, like what Klepto was talking about. Because there's a lot of shy people out there, and it happens. And Twitch is a good way for people to just lurk while they're also learning, and they don't feel the pressure of, being called on or whatever. And so this is an excellent way to grow the brand, to make more D&D players, so that we'll have more people we can play with, have fun, share stories. Anyway, I'm on a soapbox. I'm sorry. I've only had one campaign go very far, and it lasted about 8 months. I just want to play some D&D, man. Klepto, I totally understand you. I totally... It's an itch, and it needs scratched really bad. Yep, more D&D is good D&D. And you know what? As a store philosophy, if another store were to open up next to me, like another Magic store, I don't see that as competition, right? Just like I'm not competing against any other channel on Twitch. Yes, there are other people in the D&D section right now. You could go and check it out. But I'm not competing against them. And the reason why another store that sells magic cards or another channel that even does workshop stuff isn't competition or deserves ire or anger or negativity is because of the following. If I teach you how to play D&D, you might go on and give that channel your time, your attention, your business. Because I run a D&D game on Tuesdays on this channel, but maybe that's not available to you. And so you have found happiness, the other broadcaster has found happiness, and everyone wins. If another workshop channel or another game-playing channel is into D&D, introducing people to D&D, broadcasting it, and those people go to the D&D page looking for D&D and enjoying it, they might find our workshop and want to come and learn more or interact or share their tales. Our community wins, their community wins, and the individual wins. Just give me a bunch of campaign influence and we'll call it even. Oh, so this is not even a level 10 spell you're asking for, Dorak. You're asking for the fabled, you want to turn it up to 11. You want an 11th level spell. All right, so hang on with this real quick. We're no longer in March now. I mean, we are, but we're not. Any other contributions are going to go to the April goal early. My goodness. Thank you so much, Dorak. It means a lot to me. And for, for all of you, for the people who threw a couple bits out there to get up to 53 cents, I appreciate that. To all of you who lurk, follow, subscribe on any level, for people who just come in and talk, you are appreciated. You could be anywhere else right now, but you're choosing to be here interacting. Your money is a reflection of your time on this world. We only have so much of it. And the fact that you're showing your confidence.
A little closer to the domination.
Klepto, thank you. Oh my goodness. I'll put up to 22. Although, now it wouldn't go towards TwitchCon, Klepto, but if you threw in an extra $1, you could get a first dibs on one of these boxes of minis. I'd pop it open, and I'd show you all 4. You could choose which one you want. And you could build a collection, and when you're ready, I could send it to you. But if you want it to go straight to TwitchCon, I can edit that right now. My goodness. Last rites at 17th level. Oh my gosh, you all are amazing. When you hit a creature that is below its hit point maximum, you can use your sneak attack feature on that creature, even if you have disadvantage on the attack roll. This damage increases by 1d6 if the target is an undead, fiend, or celestial. Ooh. I like this, and I think this is fitting especially for an epic level character. Remember, in 5th edition, epic level starts at 17 and goes through 20. All for you, brother. Save the minis for other folks. Then, thank you. We're at 22 of 210. Well, Dorak, I mean, if I'm closer to you at TwitchCon, if you go there, or even if you're not in the convention, if you want to, if you're in town and you want to go have a meal someplace, I'll go out to a restaurant, or if there's a local game store, we can meet at a local game store and we could just talk about whatever. Look, if any of you are in my neck of the woods, right? I live by Cedar Point. We get a lot of people coming in here for the summer. If any of you stop by the store, I'll be happy to come out and say hi to you. We could talk D&D, you could share stories, or if you want to learn where like cool inspiration for D&D is in the area outside of, the amusement park or the water parks, I could fill you in on all the cool details. Numenera, I have heard that, Dorak. I think that's a good recommendation. Klepto, I think Dorak's treating you right. So I like this. I like that this is a fusion of cleric and rogue, but such as this document says, it wants to try and emulate the prestige classes of 3rd edition, and I think that so far it's done a good job. Besides maybe the Corsair of Penance, I like everything that's in here. It is very thematic. I don't know if it's necessarily overpowered. It's a different type of power. So yeah, besides the one little, like, spelling doohickey and maybe Corsair of Penance, but that's conditional, but then again, I guess what isn't. I like this a lot. Well, Klepto, I'm glad that you're in a position to get into it and that you want to experience it and you'd like to help others do so. And, you know, so Klepto, if you have questions or anyone else out there, if you're on our Discord, we have a mentor network that you can either sign up to be a mentor or...
I've watched your YouTube build guides for a while now, and this is the first night I came into the stream live. Love your attitude and vibes.
Oh my gosh. Well, Nictorek, not only do you have a wonderful German accent, you know, now that you mention it, Nictorek, did you leave a... Is your YouTube handle the same? And were you the one that was leaving some comments about, the... Were we talking about the Pathfinder 2? Like, we're talking about some of the presentation in that? Okay, I think I'm remembering some of the comments. I think we had a back and forth. If it wasn't about the Pathfinder playtest, we had a short back and forth on something now that you mention it. What was it? I'm really trying to remember. I'm sure you're out there like, dude, don't stress your brain, it's cool. When you're in a game store for a while, you learn little tidbits, you try and pay attention. You might have hundreds of different people, thousands of different people who come in. But you pick up what you can because you want to establish connections. And for a lot of you out there, for instance, for, Dorak, unless I'm remembering incorrectly, Dorak, you came to the channel last year when I was fortunate enough to be a highlighted affiliate during the affiliate anniversary program, and this channel was on the front page of Twitch for an hour. And if I recall, Dorak, you came over in that kind of raid of sorts, and we had talked, and I remember why you stood out, because not only did you come over in that circumstance, but a friend of mine had a very compelling character named Dorak also. That was and those are a lot of good memories for me. But for a lot of you out there, I do try and remember, you know, little things here and there. I'm not saying that to be creepy. I don't ask for personal details. But, you know, as we interact with each other, maybe my brain just, boop, kind of picks up a couple facts here and there. I am correct, Dorak? Oh, man. So there we go. My brain isn't too terrible. And look at that, Nero. Yeah, my brain is accessing Dorak memories. Oh, gosh. Well then, I suppose for the workshop portion of the stream, we'll end it here and we'll pick up tomorrow with the Sorcerer. But if you all want to stick around, like we can talk a little bit more if you have questions. Dorak says, I was like, sure, why not? I'll check this out. And then I'm like, God damn, this guy's awesome. Rest is history. The rest is history. And Dorak, you know what? You have the ultimate red salsa next to your name. I appreciate that. And for every one of you, if you send 1 bit, if you sponsor minis, or if you are very generously contributing towards my TwitchCon budget, as a businessman, and just even with my own personal ethics, I am here to earn anything that you offer. Your attention, your words, your lurking, your following, your subscriptions. Because all of that is proof that I'm doing something that seems to be right. That is, it's providing you something, and in return, you're providing me something. And that kind of economic exchange is civil, it builds relationships, it does so much good for all parties involved. Everyone wins. And if for any of you out there, if I ever do not earn your follow, if I do not earn your subscription, if I do not earn your time, attention, or business, do not give it to me. You can give me feedback and be like, dude, you're off your rocker. I don't know what you're thinking. I'm sorry. I can't support this channel anymore. And I mean, what can I say? I've lost your business, obviously. And that means that I need to be a better person. So it helps keep me motivated. It helps keep me honest. It helps keep me innovative as I find ways to continue to try and grow this community and to, you know, to bring it together and to make it, you know, I'm a figurehead. Really, you all are the power of the channel. But if I ever do not earn whatever it is that you offer me, you retract it. Don't, you know, if you even, Dorak, if something were to happen, and I'm not wishing ill will on you, Dorak, if something happened and you couldn't continue your subscription, I'm not going to hold that against you. It doesn't even have to be economic. Maybe you're just, I don't know, you're getting ready to move because you got a promotion and, you know, you got to put all your extra money into this and it's a new, you know, it doesn't even have to be bad circumstances. Obviously that happens, but for any reason, or you could just say, you know what, there's someone else I want to help. It's a small streamer, but I told myself I'm only going to support, you know, X amount. And, you know what, dude, you made it. I'm happy. I've given you support in a lot of other ways, but I'm going to subscribe to this guy for a little while. I'm not going to be upset. You're helping someone out. They've earned your business as well. That's the nature of this sort of, I don't know, what do we have here? I say community, but that's just, I don't know, it seems like it's not doing a service. Can I get a refund then if you don't need it? Oh, hey, look at the time, everyone. Well, yep, that's a freckle past a hair. Looks like I better get going. A relationship. There we go, Klepto. Thoughts on Artificer? Yeah, we spent a couple weeks not only reviewing Artificer, but making Artificer characters and a campaign, a whole adventure, including a map and all this other stuff, using an all Artificer party. And we themed it as like elite military agents. It's the most recent content in the stream content channel on Discord, Rycon, if you wanted to check it out. We fam. When I get to meet Maddie, I'm going to give him a big old hug. Oh, Dorak, that'd be wonderful. So here's a big old, this is from Orcs Make Beautiful Lovers. This is the emote that he has on his channel. And this is, you know, an orc's love is the purest, right? If we consider orcs to be, you know, simple creatures, primal creatures, who would know love best than orcs? And so Orcs Make Beautiful Lovers, not only by name, but by the emote on his channel, expresses this very well, because look at that face. Could you ever be, like, sad or upset at a face like that? But yeah, you know, Dorak, if there's ever a chance to meet up, if you're in my neck of the woods, or if I'm ever traveling out your way, I'd be happy to do so. I would be happy to do so. Oh, jeez. How did that get through Twitch Twitch filters? Oh gosh, y'all are something else.